Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today topic of our discussion is two group carbon-carbon disconnections. In this lecture, compound will contain two functional group and the relationship between these two functional group will be 1,3. That's why such compounds are called 1,3 difunctionalized compounds. These compounds will contain two functional group and the relationship between two functional group is 1,3. One functional group will be at position 1 and the other will be at position 3. And in this lecture we will disconnect the carbon-carbon bond of the compounds containing two functional group. Dear students, key concepts. In this lecture we will discuss some important concepts. First of all, we will discuss carbonyl compounds as electrophiles and as nucleophiles. Carbonyl compounds include aldehyde, ketones, carboxylic acid and their derivatives like acid halide and acid amides, esters. All these compounds contain carbonyl functional group. That's why these compounds are called carbonyl compounds. Sometimes these compounds will act as electrophile and sometimes these compounds will act as nucleophile. We will discuss when and how these carbonyl compounds act as electrophile and how these compounds act as a nucleophile. After this we will discuss alkylation at carbonyl carbon and at alpha carbon. So we are discussing carbonyl compounds. The alkylation means introduction of alkyl group at carbonyl carbon. And which one is the alpha carbon? The carbon next to the carbonyl carbon is alpha carbon and the carbon next to the alpha carbon is called beta carbon. So in this lecture we will discuss introduction of alkyl group either to the carbonyl carbon or to the alpha carbon. After this we will discuss important concept, that is labeling of donors and acceptor synthons, how the donors and acceptor synthons are labeled. Next, later we will discuss disconnection and synthesis of hydroxyl ketone and 1,3 diketones. Hydroxyl ketone are also the 1,3 difunctionalized compounds and 1,3 diketones are also the 1,3 difunctionalized compounds. So in these compounds, in hydroxyl ketone, the hydroxyl group and the compounds will contain hydroxyl group and a keto group. The relationship between these two functional groups will be the 1,3. So hydroxyl ketones are 1,3 difunctionalized compound. Then we will discuss synthesis of alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, and after this we will discuss intramolecular aldol reactions, and we will also discuss about aldol reaction, what is aldol reaction and what are aldols. So all these concepts we will discuss in this lecture. G. Nucleophilicity and electrophilicity of carbonyl compounds. Carbonyl group is most important in organic synthesis. It is naturally electrophilic or nucleophilic at carbon. Electrophilic at carbonyl carbon and react with nucleophiles. See, in the previous slides I told you that carbonyl carbon compounds are aldehyde, ketones, esters and acid derivatives, etc. So in these compounds the carbonyl carbon is electrophilic because it is doubly bonded with the oxygen and the oxygen is more electronegative atom and it withdraw electron density from the carbon and make the carbonyl carbon electron deficient. So the carbonyl carbon, remember, it's very important. The carbonyl carbon is electron deficient and act as electrophilic center. So when the carbonyl carbon react with any compounds, then a nucleophile will attack at carbonyl carbon. That's why it is, see the second point, it is naturally electrophilic or nucleophilic at carbon. Where the carbonyl compounds are electrophilic, carbonyl compounds are electrophilic at carbonyl carbon, and these carbonyl compounds will be nucleophilic, will behave as a nucleophile at carbon next to the carbonyl group, that will be alpha carbon. Electrophilic at carbonyl carbon. So the carbonyl compounds are electrophilic at carbonyl carbon and react with nucleophile. See the reaction, that is alkylation at carbonyl carbon. See this one, this is acid halides, this is carbonyl carbon. When a nucleophilic center, that is R, carrying a negative charge, what is nucleophile? Remember, electron rich species. The species which carries a negative charge is called nucleophile. See this one, this nucleophile will attack at electrophilic center, that is carbonyl carbon. So this nucleophile will attack at carbonyl carbon, and the double bond between carbon and oxygen move toward the oxygen, and it gives us this type of tetrahedral intermediate. The negative charge came back and pushes the leaving group to leave. See, X is a leaving group and it is leaving the compound. The product 8 is obtained. See the difference between 6 is the reactant and 8 is the product. See the difference between the structure of the reactant and the product. The reactant contain leaving group X, and here the product contain R. So X is replaced with R. So R is introduced to the carbonyl carbon. This is alkylation at carbonyl carbon. The R group is a nucleophile and the carbonyl carbon was electrophilic center. The nucleophile is bonded with the electrophilic center. See here, disconnection. This compound 8. When we have to disconnect such compounds, then we will disconnect this bond. This bond, that bond present between R and carbonyl carbon. This is alpha bond. And this disconnection, this wiggly line showing the breaking of bond. So this is carbon-carbon bond. When this alpha carbon-carbon bond is disconnected, then we have two type of synthons. One synthan will carry the positive charge and the other synthan will carry the negative charge. So it is very important that which synthan will carry a negative charge and which synthan will carry the positive charge. So we have to keep the reaction in our mind that the carbonyl carbon is acting as electrophilic center. So this is the carbon which carries a positive charge. And when the R group is introduced to the carbonyl carbon, then the R carries a negative charge. So this is the R which carrying a negative charge. Remember, when we will disconnect this alpha bond, then it is the carbonyl part which carries the positive charge and the other group, that is the R group, which ultimately carries the negative charge. So these synthons converted to the reagent. So X leaving group is introduced to the carbonyl carbon and the R bonded with metal. So the source of R negative, it means those compounds in which R group or ORR, the carbon carries a negative charge, are the organometallic compounds. Remember, the source of R negative are only the organometallic compounds. So whenever you have to place a negative charge on the R group, then remember the source of R negative charge species will be the organometallic compound. That may be the alkyl lithium compound, or that may be the Grignard reagent, or that may be the organo zinc compound or organo copper compounds. Carbonyl compounds as nucleophile. In the previous slides, we have discussed that carbonyl compounds act as an electrophile. So, which point or which center of the carbonyl compound act as an electrophile? That is the carbonyl carbon. Whenever you have to use the carbonyl compound as an electrophile, then remember the electrophilic center in carbonyl compound is carbonyl carbon. So here in this slide we will discuss carbonyl compounds as nucleophiles. See, ketone 10, this is ketone 10, that is acetone, and mostly exist in keto form. This ketone mostly exists in keto form, but it may also exist in the enol form as well. And ketone form 10 compound number 10 is a acetone, and it is in equilibrium with its enol, that is compound number 11. Carbonyl compounds upon reaction with base converted to enolate. This is very important point. How the carbonyl compounds are converted to enolate. Remember, we will take the carbonyl compounds, we will treat the carbonyl compound with the base. The base will abstract the alpha proton. See, this is acetone, this is compound number 10. This is the carbons. Here is a CH3 and here is a CH3 because it's a acetone, and this carbon is next to the carbonyl carbon. This is alpha carbon, and the proton, the hydrogen attached with alpha carbon are the alpha hydrogen, and these hydrogen are acidic in nature and easily abstracted by a base. When a base react with carbonyl compound, then the base will abstract the acidic proton. As a result, a negative charge is created on the alpha carbon. So, a carbanion is produced. That carbanion negative charge move inward, and that negative charge will be in resonance with the double bond of the carbonyl group. See over here, see the compound 12. The base is abstracting the acidic proton, and the bond is moving over here, and this bond, double bond present between carbon and oxygen, is shifting toward the oxygen. We have this type of anion. There is a negative charge on the oxygen, and this is called enolate ion. When negative charge came back, then this double bond attack at electrophile. See, this is carbonyl compound, but here this carbonyl compound is acting as a nucleophile and it is attacking at the electrophile. Here the R is Rx, alkyl halide, and in alkyl halide the R carries a positive charge. The R group is electrophile. When the negative charge of the enolate came back, then the pi bond, that is carbon-carbon double bond, attack at the R group and X leave as a leaving group. So we have compound 14. In this compound, the R group is bonded with alpha carbon. The R group is bonded with alpha carbon of carbonyl compound. So the alkyl group is introduced at alpha carbon here. But in the previous slide, the alkyl group was introduced as carbonyl carbon. In that slide, the carbonyl carbon was acting as a electrophile, but here the R group is introduced as alpha carbon. In this compound, the carbonyl compound acting as a nucleophile. So here the title is, the heading of the slide is carbonyl compound as a nucleophile. So remember, I am giving you a clue, giving you a hint. When the carbonyl compound act as nucleophile, when the carbonyl compound is converted to enolate, then carbonyl compound act as nucleophile, and the alpha carbon is alkylated. See over here, this is the carbonyl compound. Proton is abstracted by a base and the carbonyl compound converted to enolate, and the alpha group, the alkyl group is introduced at the alpha carbon. So this is alkylation at alpha carbon of the carbonyl compounds, and in these compounds, the carbonyl compound is acting as a nucleophile. Here, labeling of donors and acceptor synthons. When carbonyl, in the previous slide we have discussed that carbonyl compounds act as electrophile, as well as these compounds act as a nucleophile. So when the carbonyl compounds act as electrophile, so these are acceptors. These carbonyl compounds are called acceptor synthons. And when these compounds act as a nucleophile, then these compounds are called donors. So here, donors and acceptor synthons means the carbonyl compound when act as a nucleophile, then they are called donors, and when these carbonyl compounds act as electrophile, then they are called acceptor. So we will see over here, we will discuss in this slide the labeling of donor and acceptor synthons. Labeling system of donor and acceptor synthons was introduced by Seebeck. Seebeck is a name of scientist, and he introduced a labeling system of donor and acceptor synthons. According to him, the letters A and D are used for labeling of acceptor and donor synthons. A stand for acceptors and D stand for donors. And a superscript is used with these letters A and D. Those superscripts are 1, 2 or 3, and a superscript number shows the number of atoms from the carbonyl carbon, and the carbonyl carbon is always number 1. See these compounds. This is carbonyl carbon. The carbonyl carbon is carrying a positive charge, and remember, the carbonyl carbon is always number 1. So here the carbonyl carbon carrying a positive charge, so acting as an electrophilic center. So this is acceptor synthon. This is acceptor synthon. So which position of the compound will act as electrophilic center? That is position 1, that is carbonyl carbon. So this is called A1 synthon. See the compound 15. There is a negative charge at alpha carbon. So here this compound is acting as a nucleophile. So it is a donor synthon. First of all, it's a donor synthon. Which is the position of the donor carbon? See, this is carbonyl carbon. This is position. This carbonyl carbon is at number 1, and this carbon which carrying a negative charge is at number 2. And this is the carbon 2, which is a nucleophilic center. So this is called donor synthon, D2 synthon. D synthon means it's a donor compound, donor synthan, and which position of the donor synthan is nucleophilic? That is the position 2. I mean carbon number 2. The carbon is at position 2 with respect to the carbonyl carbon. See the compound 17. This is the alpha carbon and this is the beta carbon. It is the beta carbon which is carrying a positive charge. So this species is carrying a positive charge. So it's a positive charge carrying species. So it is acceptor synthan. So which position of this synthan is acting as an electrophilic center? See the relation of that carbon with respect to the carbonyl carbon. See, carbonyl carbon is at number 1, alpha carbon 2, and the beta carbon number is 3. That's why it's A3 synthan. And compound number 18, there is no charge in this compound. It's very, very important point. It's alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. Remember, when we have the alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, then in these compounds it is the beta carbon which act as a electrophilic center. So this is carbonyl carbon, this is alpha carbon, this is the beta carbon. So this is the beta carbon which is electrophilic center. It means this is acceptor synthan. This compound will act as electrophile. So it's acceptor synthan. And what is the relationship? What is the number of the acceptor carbon? That is carbon number 3 with respect to carbonyl carbon. That's why this is A3 synthan. And in the below picture, this is A1 synthan, this is D2 synthan, and this is A3 synthan. A3 acceptor synthan and D synthan donor synthan. Donor synthan means it contains this compound act as a donor group, act as a nucleophile. Which carbon act as a nucleophile? That is carbon number 2 with respect to carbonyl carbon. That's why this is called D2 synthan. One 3-difunctionalized compounds, that is hydroxyketone. It means our target molecule will contain 2 functional groups. One will be the hydroxyl group and the other will be the ketone group. See the compound number 19. This is hydroxyketone. The relationship between the 2 functional groups is 1-3 relationship. The carbonyl carbon is at number 1. This is alpha carbon and this is beta carbon. This is carbon number 3 which is bonded with the OH. That's why this is called 1,3 difunctionalized compound. So hydroxyl ketone, that is compound number 19, is the 1,3 difunctionalized compound. Disconnection. We will disconnect the carbon-carbon bond. Which bond is disconnected? Remember, we are studying 1,3 difunctionalized compound. We will disconnect a bond. Which bond will be disconnected? That is the beta bond. It means beta cleavage will occur over here. The bond between alpha carbon and carbonyl carbon is the alpha bond. And the bond between alpha carbon and the beta carbon. The beta carbon is that carbon which is attached with the OH. It's a beta carbon. So, the bond between alpha and beta carbon is the beta bond. This wiggly line showing the carbon-carbon disconnection. It means, we will discuss over here the disconnection of the beta bond. It's a beta cleavage. So, when this beta cleavage occurs, then we have 2 type of synthans. One is the right fragment, the other is the left fragment. The left fragment carrying a negative charge and the right fragment carrying a positive charge. So when we will disconnect the carbon-carbon bond, then we have two fragments. One fragment will carry the positive charge, the other fragment will carry the negative charge. So we disconnect the beta cleavage. So it's a compound 20. This compound, the alpha carbon is carrying a negative charge and the beta carbon carrying a positive charge. So 21 is A1 synthon, 20 is a D2 synthon. It's a enolate anion. When these compounds are converted to the reagent, then 20 gives 22 and 21 is obtained from 23. That's aldehyde and this is ketone. Two group carbon-carbon disconnection follow the odd order. First we deal with the odd number relationship. I mean 1,3-dicarbonyl or 1,3-1,5-dicarbonyl relationship. So remember, in this lecture we are discussing the 1,3-difunctionalized compound. This is odd numbered relationship. The relationship between two functional groups is the odd relationship 1 and 3. In the next lecture we will discuss the 1,5 relationship. That is also the odd number relationship. 1 and 5 both are the odd number. One functional group will be present at position 1 and the other group will be present at position 5. Here this is 1,3-dicarbonyl relationship. See the compound number 19. When it is disconnected, it gives us 22 and 23. So 22 carbonyl compound and the 23 is also the carbonyl compound. So when a 1,3-difunctionalized compound is present and when we will disconnect a beta bond, then it gives us two fragments. Both fragments will be the carbonyl compounds. So one carbonyl compound will act as a nucleophile, the other carbonyl compound will act as a electrophile. So one will be accepted, the other will be the donor. The relationship between the two functional groups is the odd number relationship. That's very important point. See over here, odd numbered disconnection gives synthons of natural polarity. When the relationship between the two functional groups is the odd relationship, and when we will disconnect the beta bond, then we have two fragments, I mean two carbonyl compounds. These carbonyl compounds has natural polarity due to presence of carbonyl group. These compounds have a natural polarity. Remember, very important point. Remember one thing. When the compound have a odd number relationship, then both fragments of such compound possess natural polarity. After discussing the 1,3-dicarbonyl relationship, then we will discuss even numbered relationship. Even numbered relationship will be discussed in next week lecture. That relationship will be the 1,2-dicarbonyl relationship or the 1,4-dicarbonyl relationship. Even numbered disconnection affords synthons of unnatural polarity, and we will discuss in the next week how the 1,2-dicarbonyl relationship or the 1,4-dicarbonyl relationship have unnatural polarity. In this lecture we will discuss the 1,3-dicarbonyl relationship, that is odd number relationship, and in these compounds when a beta bond is disconnected, then two fragments, both these fragments possess natural polarity. See the compound 19. When the beta bond is disconnected, then we have two fragments, one is 22, the other is 23. These both are carbonyl compounds and possess natural polarity. See the compound 19A. This compound is hydroxyl ketone and it possesses 1,3-difunctionalized relationship. I mean odd number relationship. See the 24A, it's a dicarbonyl compound and it have 1,5 dicarbonyl relationship. And see the 27 compounds, it's a dicarbonyl compound, but the relationship between the two functional group is the 1,2. So we can say this is 1,2 dicarbonyl compound, or the compound possessing 1,2 relationship. See the compound number 28, it is possessing 1,4 relationship. It means compound 27 and 28 both are diketones, and these both compounds possess even numbered relationship between two functional group, while the compound 19A and 24A both possess odd numbered relationship between the two functional group. Here is the summary. Synthesis of difunctionalized compound with odd number relationship needs only synthons of natural polarity. In the previous slides I told you that when a beta bond is cleaved in 1,3 dicarbonyl compound, difunctionalized compound, then we obtain two fragments. The both fragments are the both coupling partners possess natural polarity. Synthesis of difunctionalized compound with even number relationship needs some synthons of unnatural polarity. All odd numbered acceptor synthons, that may be A1 or C, and even numbered donor synthons such as D2 and D4 have unnatural polarity. And add a slogan: before you do carbon-carbon disconnection, count the relationship. So that's very important thing. Before disconnecting a carbon-carbon bond, we must check the relationship between two functional groups. We have to check that it is even numbered relationship between the two functional group, or it is odd numbered relationship between the two functional group. Hydroxyl ketones and 1,3 diketones. These are two compounds. One compound contain hydroxyl group and the ketone group, and the other compound contain two carbonyl group within a single compound. So 1,3 diketones are also called beta diketones. The relationship between the two functional group in these compounds is 1,3 relationship. So we can say these both compounds are called 1,3 difunctionalized compounds. In this slide we will discuss hydroxyl ketones, and 1,3 diketones are the beta diketones. Both these compounds possess 1,3 relationship between two functional group. Hydroxyl ketones contain two functional group. One is the hydroxyl group, the other is the keto group. And 1,3 diketones contain two functional group, and both functional group are keto group or the carbonyl group. Beta cleavage, when we will disconnect hydroxy ketones or 1,3 diketones, then we will proceed disconnection by beta cleavage. I mean beta bond, that the bond that is present between alpha and beta carbon will be disconnected. So when beta bond is disconnected, then this cleavage is called beta cleavage, is followed during disconnection of these compounds. Remember, whenever we have a disconnection, we will perform a disconnection in the hydroxyl ketones or the 1,3 diketones, then we will perform beta cleavage. I mean the beta bond will be cleaved, and as a result of this cleavage we will have two fragments we will have two partners. One partner will carry the positive charge, the other synthan will carry the negative charge. As a result of beta cleavage, two synthans are obtained. One synthan in both means hydroxyl ketone and 1,3-diketone. One synthan in both will be enolate of one of the carbonyl compound, and that synthan will be called donor synthan, or that is nucleophile. That is called nucleophile. While the other synthan will be aldehyde or ketone in hydroxyl ketone compounds, or the acid derivatives in beta diketone. So remember, we have two compounds, that is hydroxy ketone and the other one is the 1,3-diketone. See the compound 1. This is the hydroxy ketones. When the beta bond is disconnected, the carbonyl carbon is carbon number 1. This is carbon number 2, it's a alpha carbon. This is the carbon number 3, it's a beta carbon. The bond between alpha and beta carbon is cleaved. So this is called 1,3-dio bond cleaved. Then as a result of cleavage, we have two fragments, this one and this one. In these fragments, compound number 2, the fragment number 2 is anion, is enolate. So this is donor synthan. And the fragment number 3, this carbon is the carbonyl carbon. This is electrophile. So remember, when our target material is hydroxyl ketone and when a beta cleavage is done, then one fragment is the enolate of any carbonyl compound and the other fragment must be the aldehyde or the ketone. Remember, hydroxyl ketone have two fragments. Hydroxyl ketone are formed by coupling of two fragments. So one fragment is the enolate of any carbonyl compound and the other fragment must be the aldehyde or the ketone. And that aldehyde or ketone will act as electrophile. I mean that carbonyl compound will act as acceptor synthan, and the enolate of the other carbonyl compound will act as donor synthan or nucleophilic synthan. If our target molecule is compound number 4, it's a beta diketone. When the beta diketone is disconnected at beta bond, then it also affords two fragments. The one fragment is 2, that is the same which is obtained from the beta cleavage of the hydroxyl ketone, and that is the enolate of carbonyl compound. So it's donor synthan. And the other derivative in 1,3-dicarbonyl compound must be the acid derivatives. It may be the ester, it may be the acid halide. The fragment 5. The fragment 5 for 1,3-dicarbonyl compound must be the acid halide, or it may be the ester. It must possess a leaving group. So I am giving you a hint. See the compound. If it is hydroxyl ketone, then disconnect a beta bond. When you will disconnect a beta bond, then we will obtain a two fragment. The one fragment must will be the enolate. The alpha carbon will carry a negative charge, that is the enolate of respective carbonyl compound. The other partner, coupling partner, the other fragment which contain a carbon bonded with the OH must carry the positive charge at the beta carbon, and that is also the carbonyl compound, either it is aldehyde or the ketone. So in short, I can say that as a result of beta cleavage of hydroxyl ketone, we have two fragments. One is the enolate of carbonyl compound, the other carbonyl compound may be the aldehyde or the ketone. And in 1,3-diketones, one is the enolate of any carbonyl compound and the other coupling partner will be the ester or the acid halides. Reactivity order of carbonyl compounds and their respective enolates. In this slide we will discuss different carbonyl compounds, then we will discuss their reactivity when these compounds are present in carbonyl form, I mean their reactivity as an electrophile, and later we will discuss their reactivity order as their enolates. See this one. We shall understand the formation of enolate from aldehydes, ketones and esters, and it is worthwhile establishing that these three types of compound form a graded series of electrophiles, whilst their enolates form a graded series of nucleophiles in the reverse directions. See this one. This is aldehyde. When it is in the form of aldehyde, then it will act as electrophile. See, this is ketone and this is ester. When these compounds will present in this form, then they will act as electrophile. The nucleophilic attack will occur at carbonyl carbon of the aldehyde or the carbonyl carbon of the ketone or the carbonyl carbon of the ester. So see the reactivity order. More reactive. It means as a electrophile, ester is least reactive and the aldehyde is most reactive as a electrophile. See this one, most electrophilic carbonyl compound. The aldehyde is most electrophilic carbonyl compound among the other carbonyl compound from ketones, esters or the other one. See the below compound. This is the enolate of the ester, this is enolate of the ketone and this is enolate of the aldehyde. See this one. The enolate of ester is most reactive nucleophile. So remember, when the compound is present in the carbonyl form, then that act as electrophile, and when this compound is converted to its respective enolate, then its enolate will act as a nucleophile. So this is ester, and below the ester is the enolate of that ester. So this enolate of the ester act as a nucleophile. See the reactivity. The enolate of the ester is most nucleophilic enolate among the enolate of ketone and enolate of aldehyde. The enolate of aldehyde is less reactive enolate, while the enolate of ester is the most reactive enolate. So keep in mind one thing. So in the start we discussed that we will discuss the carbonyl compound as electrophile and the carbonyl compound as a nucleophile. So this slide giving us a short clue. When the carbonyl compound is present in the form of carbonyl compound, then it act as an electrophile. And when this carbonyl compound is converted to its enolate, then its enolate will act as a nucleophile. This is the short answer, that when and how the carbonyl compounds act as electrophile or the nucleophile.